Hey everybody, it's me Solomon again. I have a good video for you today. I'm going to be showing you how to feed dry sugar. Now, most of you are probably familiar with feeding sugar syrup. So why are we going to feed dry sugar? There's a few reasons for this. Number one, because here in the wintertime, it's actually New Year's Day that I'm filming this. You won't be able to feed sugar syrup unless you're in a warm climate. Why is that? Because the bees can't condense that syrup with a lot of water in it down into honey. They can't evaporate the water out of it because it's too cold, and so it will spoil, and so most of the time they won't take it at all. If you do get unfinished honey in your hive, it will most of the time go bad, and you'll be able to smell that as a fermented smell in your hive, so you don't want to do that. The other thing is, when you feed syrup, especially in times of dearth or when there's no nectar available, you will have robbing issues. And since we're keeping all these hives in close proximity to one another, there are 10 hives in this yard, robbing can be an issue. This is an unnatural situation. Hives don't usually live this close together. So those are the important factors. You can feed in winter with dry sugar and it doesn't cause robbing. Another nifty factor that I like is the fact that they will only take as much as they need. They don't really like it. And the reason why we feed in winter is because it doesn't really work in summer to feed this, nor would I recommend it. The bees will typically just haul it out as waste, but when they're stuck in the hive in a cluster, in contact with the sugar, they will eat it as needed. They will not eat more than they need. So you'll have, if you've done it right, you'll have a very little left over at the end of winter, and you can just take that, stick it in a 5-gallon bucket, store it somewhere, and reuse it again next year. In fact, I forgot my 5-gallon bucket, so I can't reuse my sugar from last year. If I come out and bring out some more, maybe I'll do that. Was there one more thing? I don't remember. Maybe we'll get along to it. So, advice for the time of year to do this. Like I said, today is New Year's Day, and normally it would be cold and dreary, and in fact, I woke up this morning at my house down in Medford, about 17 miles to the northeast of here, and about 200 or 300 feet lower in elevation. It's in a totally different other valley. I woke up this morning and it was 36 degrees and heavy fog, so I thought this would be perfect conditions because I can get into the hives, the bees won't fly out and try to sting me. It's a perfect opportunity to do it. However, this is the Applegate Valley, not the Rogue Valley, and you can see it is a bright sunny day and 44 degrees up here, so that's kind of not great for us because the bees are flying. Fortunately, I did bring my bee suit in case things get nasty. Like I said, I don't recommend doing it this time of year. Well, I recommend doing it this time of year, but not this weather specifically. But with so many things in beekeeping, this is the day we got to do it, and so this is the day we're doing it. This has been called mountain camp feeding after the name of somebody online. There's no specific name for it. I just call it feeding granulated sugar. You want to use, have I got my bag of sugar out yet? No, I haven't. You want to use cane sugar, probably. Bleached, pure cane sugar. You do not want to use any sort of unbleached or vegan sugar, or especially not brown sugar. The less purity of the sugar, the more stuff in it, the more problems you'll have with dysentery and diarrhea and causing diseases in the hive, and that's no good. You want as pure sugar as you can get. Generally, everybody who uses sugar for bees prefers cane sugar. I'm not sure of any legitimate reason for that. I've been told that beet sugar uses GMOs, and some people like to stay away from GMOs. Scientifically speaking, of course, there's nothing ever been proven wrong with GMOs. I used beet sugar last year. I don't think I like it as much. It seems to have kind of it leaves like maybe like a slight oily residue, and it didn't seem to have as good of mortality rate as the cane sugar has in the past. So maybe I'll get you some more details of that as we go along. Alright, so here are our materials for the day. Got our trusty sugar right here. Just opened the bag. Looks like they're using more of a feed bag type material, so I'll be able to reuse that bag as an inner cover, which you'll see over there in a minute. Number two, you're going to need brawny paper towels. They're the ones with the shorter length sections. The half sections, I guess they're a little, anyway, shorter length sections, and that's just because 3 sections long is about the length of a beehive, so that's really helpful. You can use whatever you want, use a piece of newspaper. I just find this stuff's really easy and it fits really well. Then you're going to need a shim on which to put the sugar. So in this case, a lot of people have an empty shallow box laying around, or maybe a medium, or even a deep. From your honey supers. I also have these. There are various types. These are 3-inch shims that are basically the bottom of a deep box cut off to make a medium. So I have a lot of these and I like to use them just because I like to recycle and reuse things, just like I'm going to try and reuse this thing here. Okay. Oh, and then of course our trusty hive tool, and if the bees get upset, I'm going to be putting on a bee suit, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so here we go. This is standard hive tool. Here's my dirt cheap hive lid weight. It's a basic, very basic telescoping cover. I like these. I leave off the inner plywood part. It's just a wood rim with a piece of aluminum roof flashing stapled over the top. These are quite durable and usable, but they're not structural, so they're there for the weight. This is my dirt cheap insulated inner cover. I'm going to be showing how to make these in an upcoming video. They're really easy and cheap, and there's a spider hibernating on it. There you go, little buddy. Sorry to ruin your home. Alright, so this is my dirt cheap inner cover. This is made out of usually a feed bag. You can use dog food bags. Lots of different types of bags you can use. Again, dirt cheap. This one is made out of a soil tote. So you can get a couple years use out of these. And this is to take up the gap between the insulated lid and the hive, because the insulated lid is made of extruded polystyrene, which the bees can and do chew on. Even if it's outside the hive, if there's an upper entrance and they can get to it, they will chew on it. And that's a millipede. Alright, so I'm going to show you basically how this is done. I'm going to take the lid off, put the shim on, put the paper towel down without too many bees hopefully getting in my face. And they're not particularly happy. Put our paper towel in there and go get a bee suit. Be right back. Okay, back we are. Hopefully the microphone will not get brushed on by too much fabric here. Alright, so I laid down my first layer of paper. I'll put one more in here just to cover over these feeders that are still in here. The reason why I'm feeding these hives is because they were late season splits, and even though I had feeders in here and kept trying to get them fixed up and figured out, they just never gained weight. So I'm out here doing this now. They've obviously survived to this far. You know, we're already a month and a half or so into our winter season. So they made it this far. I'm not too worried about them. They obviously don't have any disease problems. They're pretty vigorous, which is all good. Alright, so I put my shim on. You do not want to put your paper on first, and you definitely don't want the paper to be sticking out the sides, because it can wick moisture from the outside. We don't want that. Alright, and then we just pour some sugar on the top of here. Try not to overspill around the edges, because it'll just go down in the hive, or we could have layered this better to hold the sugar in better, depending on how much we want to put in here. I only just want to put, what is that, 10 pounds at the most. So what'll happen now is, as the bees go back into hibernation, when the temperature cools down and it gets wet again, the sugar will absorb moisture and become solid. The bees will eat up through the paper beneath and use the sugar as necessary. One more thing before I go on. If you need to add some extra sugar to the hive before the end of winter, all you need to do is stick another sheet of paper towel on there and pour some more sugar on. If you don't do that, because the bees have eaten up holes into the sugar, you pour more on, it's just going to fall through, which is not going to do anybody any good. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to put my lid back on top. Feed bag inner cover. Insulated inner cover. Telescoping cover. And dirt cheap hive lid weight. And there we go. That's really all there is to it. Like I said before, normally these bees are going to be clustered. The temperature's low enough, they're not going to be flying, and I would want them to stay not flying, because as you see, if it's flying weather, they will definitely come out and mess you up, because this is high time to be defending the hive against intruders. So they can get kind of mad. Even if they're nice bees, they will get mad at you and mess you up on this. Take my word for it. It's no fun to get stung in the face. I just got stung in the forehead, but it's okay. It's the first sting of the year, and it's New Year's Day, so that's appropriate, I guess. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and if you want to support more videos like this, add me to your list of patronages on Patreon. Have fun keeping bees, because if you're not having fun, you know, it's sunny, you could do something else.